Have you ever wondered how to spot a narcissist from the very first moments, without wasting months of suffering, without letting them drain your energy before you finally realize the truth? In fact, within just 5 short seconds, you can see right through the flawless mask they've built. It may sound unbelievable, but narcissists aren't nearly as good at hiding as they think. Behind the overconfidence, the charming smile, or the powerful image lies an empty, insecure soul that craves only one thing: admiration. They survive on what's called narcissistic supply, fuel drawn from attention, compliments, or even someone else's anger and pain. To them, you're not a person to cherish, but merely a source of emotional energy to feed their fragile ego. And here's the secret: how they react in those first 5 seconds when you say no, when you set a boundary, or when you question a lie, reveals everything. A normal person will respect you, maybe even feel ashamed of a mistake. But a narcissist, they'll lash out, deny, or twist the situation to regain control. In this video, you'll discover a simple but powerful 5-second test, a tool not only to spot a narcissist early, but to protect yourself and hold on to the peace and dignity you truly deserve. Part 2. The nature of a narcissist. To understand why the 5-second rail works so effectively, we need to step inside the inner world of a narcissist. On the surface, they may radiate a magnetic presence, confidence, charm, and a way with words that makes others feel they're standing before someone powerful, proud, and successful. But in reality, it's all just a carefully constructed mask. Behind that mask lies a frightening emptiness, a collapsed house hidden behind shiny walls. Most narcissists are born out of insecurity, an absence of unconditional love in childhood, or unhealed psychological wounds. They grow up with the fear that if their true self is exposed, weak, vulnerable, imperfect, they will be ridiculed or abandoned. That fear pushes them to create a false self to survive. This also explains why they crave narcissistic supply, the emotional fuel they cannot live without. It may come from praise, attention, or even negative reactions like anger and tears. To them, any reaction has value as long as it reminds them they still have power, that their fragile ego still exists. You can imagine supply like gasoline for a car. Without fuel, the car stops running. Without attention and reactions from others, the narcissist spirals into crisis and must seek a new source of supply to fill the void. That's why, whenever they meet someone, their mind doesn't ask, "Can I build a genuine relationship with this person?" Instead, the question is, "What can I get from them?" Love, empathy, care. None of these are the ultimate goal. To a narcissist, they are simply tools to harvest fresh supply. This is also why kind, empathetic people, those who put others before themselves, often become perfect prey. Your very compassion and kindness make them see you as a goldmine of emotional fuel. Once they've marked you as supply, they will test your limits, spin lies, or create situations to manipulate your emotions. And here is why the 5-click test is so crucial. When you know how to set a boundary, forcing them to reveal their true reaction in an instant, you will see the reality behind the mask. A normal person may respect you, even admit fault, but a narcissist, terrified of losing supply, will immediately show anger, denial, or their usual controlling tactics. By understanding this truth, you'll no longer be confused by their initial charm or allure. Instead, you'll see them not as strong and confident people, but as fragile individuals who depend on others' attention to hide the emptiness inside. And that is the foundation for protecting yourself from the toxic cycle they bring. Part 3. 5 scenarios that expose a narcissist. Scenario 1. When they test your boundaries. Narcissists are like predators. They test the prey before making a move. The easiest way to spot them is by watching how they react when you set a boundary. For example, you tell them that tonight you need time for yourself and can't attend a gathering. A normal person will nod and respect your decision. But a narcissist is different. Within 5 seconds, they'll try to bend that boundary. But I already made plans. It would be such a waste if you don't come. Or, just for a bit, you're letting me down. This is the moment to observe. If they respect it, that's normal. But if they push harder, guilt trip you, or twist things so you feel at fault, you've just seen their true colors. Tip: stay calm and simply repeat your decision without over-explaining. Consistency is the mirror that exposes the narcissist. Scenario 2. When you challenge a lie. Narcissists live inside a play they've written, with themselves as the flawless lead character. To maintain that illusion, they bend the truth or invent unbelievable stories. When you point out contradictions in what they say, a normal person might blush, apologize, or at least try to explain reasonably. But to a narcissist, truth is the enemy. In the 5 seconds of being questioned, they'll react in one of 3 ways. Lash out to intimidate, flat out deny with lines like, "You must be remembering wrong," or flip the script so you doubt yourself. This is classic gaslighting. Tip: don't get sucked into endless debate. Ask a simple question like, "Can you explain why this story doesn't match the facts?" And then watch. Someone genuine will clarify or admit fault. A narcissist will show their mask slipping. Scenario 3. When you refuse toxic behavior. Narcissists expect the world to revolve around them. They may put you down in front of others, interrupt you, or make unreasonable demands. When you stop tolerating it, for example, calmly asking, "Do you think talking to me that way is respectful?" their true reaction shows within seconds. A responsible person will pause, reflect, and apologize if they cross the line, but a narcissist will get angry, mock you for being too sensitive, or excuse it as just a joke. These responses reveal how they really see the relationship, as a stage to display power, not a partnership of equals. Tip: stay steady and don't join their emotional game. A short response like, "I don't agree with that," protects you and reveals the truth. Scenario 4. When they feed on your empathy. If you're empathetic, a good listener and open-hearted, you're a magnet for narcissists. They see your light, your kindness and warmth, but instead of valuing it, they envy it. Within 5 seconds of you withholding attention or comfort, their irritation will show, sometimes even contempt. For example, if you don't react to their dramatic complaints, a normal person might accept it and work things out themselves, but a narcissist will snap, "You're so cold," or punish you with sudden silence and withdrawal. That bitterness exposes that they never sought genuine care, only to drain your energy. Tip: treat your empathy as the treasure it is. Set clear boundaries, and don't hand it out unconditionally to those who only exploit it. Scenario 5. When they exploit your trust. To a narcissist, you're not a real person. They see you as a resource bank, money, admiration, connections, or simply attention. Within 5 seconds of sensing you're holding back your trust, they'll reveal their desperation, making over-the-top promises, pressuring you, or accusing you of not being the same anymore. A normal person will value your trust and give you the space to verify things. But to a narcissist, your caution is a threat because it signals their control slipping. That's when you'll see them scramble, guilting, promising, or blaming to pull you back into the cycle. Tip: don't let your trust become a weapon against you. Ask yourself, is this relationship truly balanced? Is there any genuine reciprocity? If the answer is no, then you've already found the truth. Within 5 seconds of their reaction. 4. How to respond and protect yourself. The hardest part of dealing with a narcissist isn't recognizing them, it's maintaining your own state of mind. They feed on the emotional chaos of others, which means any strong reaction, anger, sadness, panic, becomes a priceless gift to them. That's why calmness is your greatest weapon. Every time you take a deep breath and respond in a steady tone, You cut off the fuel they crave. Simple responses like "I hear you" or "I don't agree" leave no openings for them to exploit. Brevity is also key. Narcissists will drag you into endless arguments where you're forced to defend yourself, explain, and eventually exhaust your energy. The more you talk, the more ammunition you unknowingly give them. Instead of listing reasons, make your answers like a closed door, calm, firm, and final. Not angry, not heavy-handed, but unshakable. A short refusal is always stronger than a long speech. When they try to break your boundaries, you'll see the same tricks repeated. Interrupting conversations, making last-minute demands, forgetting their wallet so you'll pay. If you give in once, they'll take it as an invitation to repeat the pattern. That's why consistent, decisive responses are essential reminders that boundaries are not negotiable. You might calmly say, "I wasn't finished speaking, let me complete my thought," or "Please transfer that money back to me." No need for harshness, but your consistency tells them you're not easy prey. To do this, you must learn to observe without being pulled in. Picture yourself sitting in a movie theater watching a character on screen. Every word, every action is part of a script you've seen before. When you see them through the eyes of an audience, you no longer feel responsible nor guilty. You simply recognize they're performing, and that awareness protects you from manipulation. Still, there are times when no boundary or strategy is enough. Some relationships are so toxic that their very presence is like a wound that never heals. In those cases, distance is the only remedy. You may start by limiting interactions, keeping contact minimal, and avoiding situations where you could be drawn in. And if circumstances allow, the most decisive step, no contact, can become the strongest act of self-protection. It's not running away. It's declaring, "I deserve a life free from control and abuse." Throughout this journey, the most important thing is holding on to the belief that you matter. If you constantly feel drained, doubtful of yourself, or robbed of joy, see that as a clear sign it's time to care for your own spirit. Don't hesitate to reach out to trusted friends or professional support. Escaping a narcissist's cycle isn't just about saying no to them, it's about saying yes to yourself, to your self-respect, your peace, and your self-love. When you step out of their game, you'll discover a simple truth. The narcissist's power never truly existed. It only grew when you gave them your reactions, when you allowed them into your inner world. But once you stand firm, stay silent, and observe with clarity, their mask falls away, revealing the emptiness they've been hiding all along. And in that moment, you not only protect yourself from harm, you reclaim the freedom of your own soul. After walking through all the scenarios and strategies, you've probably realized that the 5-second test isn't just a psychological trick. It's a mirror that reflects the truth. When you set a boundary, when you say no, when you stop feeding them your energy, the narcissist's reaction comes instantly. In those brief seconds, the mask that seemed flawless begins to crack, and that's when you see what's really there, the anger, the denial, or the manipulative tactics they can't hide fast enough. This also reminds us that real love and respect never require control. A healthy person, when rejected, may feel disappointed, but they still respect your choice. They'll pause, listen, and sometimes even thank you for being honest. A narcissist, on the other hand, won't. They see every refusal as a challenge, every boundary as an insult. And that difference is what helps you distinguish between a healthy relationship and a toxic cycle. It's so important to remember, a narcissist's power exists only when you give it to them. They cannot control you if you don't react. They cannot drain you if you protect your energy. And they cannot make you question your worth if you remind yourself daily that you deserve love, respect, and peace. Every time you choose to stand firm, to stay silent, or to walk away when necessary, you're reclaiming pieces of your freedom. That is not selfishness, it is self-love. Because only when you honor yourself can you build relationships that are equal and healthy, where love isn't endless sacrifice, but mutual support and care. So, trust your intuition. If something feels wrong, Observe. If someone's reaction makes you uneasy, set a boundary. And if they keep ignoring that boundary, remember, you have the right to leave. No one has the right to turn you into fuel for their fragile ego. And finally, if you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. It's more than just support, it's a way of spreading the message that every one of us deserves to live in freedom, love, and respect. Together, we can build a community where the light of truth outshines the darkness of manipulation. And remember, just 5 seconds of observation can change your entire journey.